Welcome back to the Untold, where we meet amazing people, amazing personalities. And today, Ahmed, we have
A
a
star, a
star.
KTV2 star
Yeah.
in her own right, an
Okay.
English educator, and an artist
And a
at
friend of
heart,
mine.
and a friend of yours.
I love her.
We rarely have your friends on the show, so congratulations.
Yeah, we had your friends.
Plenty
Today-
of my friends.
Yeah, today we're gonna have my friend,
gonna have
one of
your
my
friend.
favorite friends. Like I really like spending time with her. She is amazing. She doesn't have free time for anything because
That's
she's
why
quite
she doesn't
busy.
hang out with you much, huh?
She doesn't hang out, but we talk a lot.
Okay.
Okay, and let's just get to
Jump
know her
to the interview.
right after the break. Welcome back to the Untold, and we're back again with our guest, Heba Alqahtani. Heba, you're no stranger to KTV2.
Not at all.
Not at all, and she's a friend of mine, so
Yeah.
she gets special treatment
I'll
today.
stay
Ahmed.
quiet this episode.
You have to be.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. You can talk.
Yeah.
So, Heba, let's
I
start
can
with
talk.
an introduction about yourself. You are an English teacher, you're a TV presenter, a mother, a very joyful person. I'll let you do the rest.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here on your
Of
show.
course,
I'm really
it's our
happy to
pleasure.
be here, and especially when the mics is on and everything. I mean, everything looks really amazing. Talking about myself, as you just said, I started at, let's say, from the beginnings when we used to be in college
Yeah.
and young and free and wild and everything. So I used to work as a news reporter.
Oh.
And that was really interesting because I really loved news, and news was my passion.
Well.
And moving on forwards, I had to graduate eventually. So my
I had to graduate. They forced me to graduate.
literally, they forced me to graduate
Okay.
because I was like trying to,
Extend it as
ace
long as-
some subjects that I've taken before, and I was like telling my mom, I have time and things, and so, and they were like,
No.
you have to graduate. And I don't know why, like when you go back in time and tell them, like ask them, why did you force me? It's like, we don't know. Because you just finished everything. So why do you want to go back and ace your subject? So anyways, so I had to graduate. And then when I wanted to actually work, this is where the storm actually happened, because I always wanted to work, whether it's in a bank, something private, I never thought of working
private
in a,
sector.
Yes, in government sector. So my mom was always there, and she was like, listen to your mother.
You're going to be a teacher.
Yes, go and work as a teacher. And I had my friend Manur. She was so mesmerized by the idea that my mom actually showed her of being a teacher and how amazing the job is. And she was like, yes, we're going to be teachers. And I was
Which
like,
is
no.
funny because most parents want engineers or doctors.
Teacher is getting up there, though.
Yeah.
Teacher.
You know why? Because they got paid more recently.
And they
the pay
get
structure got
really
you know,
long vacations.
People think
Long
about
vacations.
the holidays.
Holidays. You get the summer off.
Yes, you have the summer, you have the mid-year
Mid-
holiday, February holiday, and talking about New Year, talking about Sana al-Hijriya.
But you teach,
No.
you teach middle school.
Yes,
How
It
long
must
have you been
be
teaching? Sorry.
10 years.
10
years.
years.
Yeah.
Do you love it?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And she's been presenting about the same time. So she, as a TV presenter, she's
Also
presenting
about
for
10
almost
years?
10 years.
No,
Almost.
it was
A bit longer?
13 years.
Nice.
13 years.
You started as a news reporter for which?
It was Al Watan TV.
All right, nice.
And I used to work in the economy sector, and it was kind of, let's say, quite interesting when it comes into that time, because it was really challenging working in that department itself.
So I would say that especially, 13 years ago, getting into media was not as easy as now. Now we have all these social media platforms, people getting famous really quick. You were there in a time where it's really hard to be in there.
Yeah.
How was it?
If you want to talk more about when I actually started, it was really difficult, because when I worked in that certain academy, it was challenging because they were only picking the few. And also when you were picked, we have to, let's say, always ask them, when are we going to actually work and be in that, let's say, private channel. And then the opportunity was given to us, and once we entered the field, it was still challenging because they wanted us to learn how to create the news, how to write the input and post it on channels instead of actually working as a reporter from the beginning. Therefore, we had so many procedures and steps in order for us to actually go and reach towards the point where we can actually work as reporters. And then the moment actually happened once they told us to go to the field and try to explore the things that are there. Because if we're talking about economy, we're talking about, let's say, reports about gold, petrol, talking about, let's say, everything that's associated with money. So it was really interesting and challenging. And I remember my first report was about gold. And I end up wearing gold actually at that time just to, let's say, make it more real. But in the end, I mean, it was really challenging, but it was really fun. Like the challenge was the power, the thing that was making us actually working hard to prove ourselves.
What made you want to be a news reporter in the beginning?
Well, again, my mom. I wanted to actually...
She wanted to become a teacher, and
I was planning to travel abroad to my family for a
Okay.
visit. And she was like, why do you want to travel? You're still, let's say, 16 to 18 at that time. And I was like, Mom, it's my opportunity to go and travel and explore the world. And she was like, yeah, sure, I'm with you. And then she was like, oh, you know what? You just got signed to this academy that teaches people more about
she
being
signed her up so she does
She
not
signed her
travel.
And I was like,
I
what are you
love that.
saying? She was like, yeah, oh, and guess what? Today is the day that they're going to pick who are going to attend. So you have an interview for that. And I
So
was like,
she signed you up just so you
Yes.
do not travel.
Yes.
And
Like
that-
she's always behind that, you know. She's like the master plan.
your
and
mom is tricky.
Yeah.
I love her, but she's tricky. So, you know, what do you think your goals are in media? How far do you want to go?
Well, I believe that everything has let's say, a limit. Not only a limit, but when you're talking about age, you know, because you're growing in the end, and something positive, because you don't want to be, let's say, for instance, a TV host forever, but you want to approach towards where you reach towards a thing or a time that people would say, okay, they will recognize you as, this is Heba. She used to be, for instance, a TV host for a certain matter or for a certain program and so on. So for me, I always say that I will work in this industry for fun because this is something I like. It's not a job that I'm obliged to, let's say, work and, you know, get paid for every month. No, it's something that I really enjoy working for.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, and I'm very sure people who I've worked with have seen the last thing I would ask them is how much is going to I'm going to get paid if I'm working with you guys, you know? Like, this is the last thing. Even if I reach towards the limit and there is a space for me to work, I would immediately jump and work because I love what I do. And hopefully I'm, let's say, giving something positive for the audience, you know, women, men, whoever is watching us today, you know? Always try to work, have your own job, but at the same time try to find another thing that, let's say, is kind of your hobby, something positive
And you
could
still get
actually
money for it.
provide people.
And you still get money for it.
Yeah,
Have a hobby that pays you well.
That's something positive, you know.
Pays you well is questionable.
It's
It's very
questionable.
questionable.
We are not allowed to say that on camera. are we?
Yeah. Okay. So you teach English. You do TV shows, right? Hosting. Where do you see yourself more? Which field feels more at home for you?
To me, both of them. It's like if I get really tired from school, for instance, there's always a situation, whether it's here or at school, in media or school. So sometimes you feel really low when you're in school. Therefore, the thing that makes you, let's say, more up and positive is coming to your work in media, and vice versa. So for me, it's more of a balance.
It's an
thing.
escape.
Yeah.
It's an escape.
Both of them are
Both
the
of them are an
escape,
escape. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say that I escape from school to media, but sometimes I
You
escape from
media to school.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
But, okay, you teach middle school
Yes.
girls. How do you deal with the hustle? You know?
It's amazing.
It's
to be
amazing.
honest.
Are you
The
teaching
hustle is
public
amazing.
sector or
Public.
public sector?
To be honest,
So
it's
tell
really
me.
amazing. You
Yeah.
know why? Because I never thought how important is intermediate stage until I entered the field. I mean, they are the one that they really need to be focused on. The way that you deal with them, talk with them, interact with them, it's very challenging because if you feel that what they're going through is so small and you just, let's say, don't give them any attention towards what's happening, you would immediately create a monster. That's it.
Create a
You know,
monster.
yeah, it's very, very terrifying how difficult that you actually deal with this kind of age. But once you know the keys and how to deal with them, I mean, you have so many different personalities. You have the weak ones, the strong ones, the ones who are
The rebellious.
yes, the ones
The
who
bullies.
don't really know what to do. Oh, I used to bully the bulliers.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait.
If you're
Let's
talking
rewind.
about
Let's
bullying,
rewind.
She's
As
he
a
bullies
teacher,
the
you
bullies.
bullied the bullies.
Not as a teacher,
As a
but when I
student.
was a student, I used to
Oh,
bully
I
the
thought as a
bulliers.
teacher, but okay.
And now as a teacher, if I see a teacher who's bullying another teacher, I would bully
Well,
that teacher.
a teacher bullying a
Yes,
teacher?
this is something that people wouldn't really know more about because when you're talking about school society, you're not only talking about students, but you're also talking about
The
schools.
crew,
You know,
yeah,
you
the
have
staff,
principal,
yeah.
you have
Teachers
the
bully?
head departments, you have
So
different teachers. So yeah.
Do you mean a
whatever
teacher of a
happens-
higher position
No.
bullying someone?
No, they don't need to be higher
Equal
position,
level
equal
teachers
levels.
bullying each other.
I think that's just women's society.
Is it a nationality
no,
thing?
No, it's even no, it's not nationality thing. I mean, this is something global. You know, everyone wants to become better. Even when it comes into media, you know, you have this anchor, you have this host. Everyone is like trying to represent themselves
Conspiracy
as
theories.
the best that they can. Therefore,
I hear
It's a-
conspiracy
Therefore,
It's
theories.
a dog eat dog world, you know?
you know,
It's a
because
man eat man world.
and I believe that.
Why
this
did you change
actually
the
happen-
expression?
Because we're humans.
It's not
To
that
be
expression,
honest,
yes.
this actually happens is when you have someone who's really, let's say, encouraging that. You know, when you have, for instance, a principal who encourage that part that this person is better than you. Therefore, this person is going to try to do their best to always be the best. You know, no matter what happens. So I believe that this kind of feelings or attitude is actually presented within the place itself. I mean, somebody has to trigger it. Even when it comes into homes, you know, when we're talking about home, you have a mother and a father, and then you have the siblings. Then you have the situation comparison. Your brother is better than
Yeah.
you because
Yeah,
your
yeah,
brother.
yeah,
And what happens? You create.
You create
Monsters.
animosity, yeah.
So, from your, experience in teaching and media, what is the lesson that you learned in your life?
Patience.
Patience.
Patience
You
is
should
key.
be a good listener.
True.
You should never, ever, 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 ever do something without rethinking about it. Always keep yourself in the person position, and let's say, as they say, in their shoe, so that you can understand it. Never look at the things from one window. Always be the person inside the box and try to escape it, you know? Because it's very challenging. They always say, look outside the box. For me, look inside the box and try to be the person in that box and know how to escape it. So in the end, this is what I actually see. You have to have these kind of criteria in you in order for you to achieve something better.
Fair.
It's a very fair answer. Like,
Very fair answer.
be
It's a
fair.
teacher answer.
That's a teacher's answer. Are you
Teacher's
taught?
answer.
Are you taught that? Okay. How about we go to break
Yeah.
before we
Yep.
continue the
Let's
the
take a quick
interview?
break and we'll be back.
We'll be back. So we're back again with our guest, and Heba Alqahtani, the teacher, the TV presenter, a very amazing personality. So let's talk now about balance. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, right? You're a teacher. We're talking about full-time teacher here. And then you're done by 2 o'clock, I suppose. And then you have to be here.
Yes.
The TV.
How do you
behind
manage?
in front of the cameras, fully dressed up, glamour on, you know.
Glamour on.
Yeah. Ready
Glamour.
to talk and do your best. And then you also have kids. How do you
Yeah,
manage
how do you
your
divide
time?
and manage
Yes.
that time?
So first of all, I recently I just became a head of department. Therefore, when you're a
Oh,
teacher, you're always
nice.
responsible of yourself. But when you're head
Now
of
you're
department, you're responsible of your whole crew.
teachers and
Therefore, I'm not just working for myself, but I am assisting almost now 13 teachers, and I have 28 classes, which means like let's
28
say-
classes.
Yes, for the whole school, we have 28 class. Therefore, if you have 28 class, you have to divide them on 13 teachers. And I also teach at the same time, so you could, let's say, have...
Double job.
Yes.
yeah.
So...
That's a big responsibility being
Yes,
head of
the
department.
responsibility is very big because you are the person who is trying to provide them with all of the information that they actually need during the day. And you have to make sure that all of your crew is actually at work, you know? Like if
Yeah.
someone is
Because if
absent...
one teacher is
Yes.
absent, it throws the schedule all over the
Yes.
place.
And everything is
Substitute
gonna,
teachers
everyone
and
is
all
gonna run and trying to figure out what's gonna happen, who's gonna take who, and so on. So especially one of the things that's really challenging this year is I am actually working at Jahra government area.
It's further.
Yes, from my home location, it's almost 1 hour. It takes me 1 hour.
And then to come back here.
1 hour, one
But
way.
to come to
Wow.
Kuwait City, let's say for the Ministry of Information, it takes 30 minutes. But if I want to go home, with
an
the
hour.
With the
yes,
traffic,
with
that's
traffic
time
takes me
wasted.
an hour.
That's an hour one way.
Yes,
Wow.
it's only in the morning. But if I want to go back home, let's say for instance I leave school at 2 p.m.
Is it better?
I reach at 4 p.m.
Then how do you manage
because
KTV
the 7th
2
ring
schedule?
was closed, shut down, but now it's back. So the positive thing is I can leave at 2 and reach home at 3.
You're going to spend most of your life stuck
I
in
mean,
traffic.
There's
So
a
this
research
is the
study about that.
challenging things that I'm facing now. Like previously, nothing was really difficult. I leave school at 1 and I'll be there at home. I have, let's say, live shows at 6 or 5, so there is spare time, you know.
It's really
But
small window.
yes, now one of the things that I also add to myself is I'm teaching in the nursing institute, which is in Shweikh. And it's for 2 days, every Tuesday and Wednesday from 6:30
How did you
to
even
8.
have time to fit that in your
Because
schedule?
I don't have TV shows at that time, and I was like, I have to.
Do you
fill the
hate
schedule.
free time?
I don't hate free time, but I if I have time that I can actually spare it with people and provide them with something good, then why not? Like, yeah.
But then how do you focus on your family?
Yes. So the thing is, I have Maria. Maria now she's 4 years old. She's at
Mashallah.
her first
Kindergarten.
KG,
Yeah, she's
okay,
in kindergarten.
nice, nice.
So her father always takes her to school because both of them are in the same area.
Okay,
Yes.
makes sense.
So after that, once I reach home, with the hours that I have, I always try to spend my time with her by, let's say, sitting with her, chatting, trying to figure out what's happening, playing. Like, for instance, I always took them to the park. And everyone is like, but you know, because we don't really record what you actually do, you want to have it all within the moment itself.
Right.
So we go to the park together, we stay there almost 2 hours, and then we go back home, buying from the groceries things that they like, and then go back home, go back to work, and then come back again at night to catch up with them, and then stay the night with them until they fall asleep, and then it goes back again. The thing is, we're not always busy, you know. I'm not always, let's say, having my shows, for instance.
It's not every
early.
day.
Yeah. For instance, I have a show, I always record it at 7 p.m. every Sunday. And then I have a show on Monday, which is 3:30 to 6:30. And then I have Tuesday and Wednesday, 6:30 to 8. And then Thursday is my off day from
That's
everything.
The entire week.
Yeah,
blown
but,
out.
Yeah.
but when you're talking about the time, like I finish school at 1. I try to go home as fast as I can because as I
You gotta
told
change and you
if
gotta
I
adjust.
leave school at 2, then it's end game.
Yeah, it's end game.
So if I leave at 1, that means I can reach
Yeah.
home at 2:30.
You beat the traffic.
Yes, so I can stay with them until 6.
So, speaking of the shows you do, what are the current shows you're on? You're on around Kuwait
Yes.
and Bollywood.
Yes.
right? Could you tell me about those shows? Let's plug your show.
So the ones that I work in
Yeah.
KTV2 is around Kuwait, and we're talking more about the things that we actually do, or let's say happened in Kuwait. You know, events, workshops,
Nice.
interviewing people who,
Beautiful.
let's say, achieved great things in Kuwait, and that's when we're talking about around Kuwait,
Around
and it's
Kuwait.
directed by Ali, and I'm working with my co-hosts. We have Abdulaziz, Abdul Latif, and Sarah so
Nice,
far.
nice.
Rita used to work with us, and also Sarah Abdullah, but you know they're
Yeah,
always off
they're
and
alternating,
on.
yeah. Okay.
And then we have around, and then we have in Bollywood.
In Bollywood.
Yes, this is directed by Zahra.
Zahra, yeah.
And I'm working with Amna, and it's more about things that are happening in Bollywood.
All about Bollywood,
movies, stars.
And I hear you
yeah.
are actually a fan of Bollywood movies. Could you name top
this is really
Bollywood movies? I know.
challenging.
Putting you on the spotlight. Off the top of your
Not
head.
on the spotlight because
Off the top of your
yeah.
head. Top 5 Indian movies maybe.
Oh, don't say that.
Well,
Indian movies?
Indian, we're talking
Okay,
about
so
Indian.
I love
Bollywood movies.
Bazigar. If you
Bazigar.
want to know, talk about movies, so
Okay.
Bazigar.
Bazigar was
yes.
nice. Have you seen the second one though?
No, I've
Okay.
seen only the one that Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol actually played.
Okay.
It was really beautiful.
Okay.
And I think this is attached to me because it's more of a childhood movie that I used to
Fair.
watch. And Mother India is
Mother
always and
India.
forever going to be the tragic movie that was very terrifying for me until
Kapi
nowadays.
Kuchi Kapi Gum.
That's
I
a
don't really
classic,
like
but
that
it's not
movie.
that
Come
Come
much.
on, it made me cry.
It's just a classic,
no,
but it's not.
to me, like I people always will recommend that movie. Like I don't know, I didn't feel it. Maybe because
You didn't
people
feel it.
really loved it. that
Let
much.
me.
Oh, Jawan.
Jawan,
Jawan?
have you seen
Yes.
it? I
Jawan,
have
the
seen it.
one that just got out?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
I like
amazing.
it.
Come on.
I seen it.
To be honest, I liked it and I liked the songs.
The songs are nice.
Yes.
Maybe they
Chaliye,
went
like, you know,
a little.
I'm trying to remember the.
There's a
lyrics.
lot of action happening in the
know.
movie. I
But
loved it.
let me pivot. Favorite Bollywood actors or the superstar you see in Bollywood?
Katrina Kaif.
I used to like her, but no.
Who do you think is
I
number
used to
one?
like her, but no.
In your in your
Who's
your
number
mind,
one
who's
now?
number one in Bollywood?
Okay, there are legends. We
There
cannot
are
mention
legends.
them. I mean, khalas, they're legends.
Okay. They can still be the number one
No, I
actors
know, but
for you.
you know, if you keep mentioning them, that means like you're repeating the rhythm. You know, you have to always pop new people out.
Okay, then do you have a new face
So-
for us? Because the three Khans run Bollywood,
No,
basically.
no. Like, okay, Ranveer.
Ranveer. I
Ranveer
hear,
Singh.
I hear a lot about Ranveer.
He's good.
Ranveer.
Yeah.
I like Ranveer also.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shahid Kapoor used to do stuff, but he's not there anymore. I don't know what happened to him.
And are you more into Bollywood than Hollywood?
No, like I am into Bollywood and I am into Hollywood
Okay.
at the same time. But you
Alright.
know what's my problem is I tend to always watch the movie and then I just forget about it. If you replay the movie, like I watch it again, I'm like, wow, and my husband used to say, we just watched it last week, and I was like,
and you're
really?
no, it's different today.
Like it's always, I don't know why. I think because I.
I mean, rewatching
I think that's
movies
a
is
really,
fun.
a really
Rewatching
good
movies is fun.
talent. No, if imagine watching your favorite movie as if you're watching it for the first time, and you'd get the same reaction. She gets that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's memory problems at this point.
Yeah, you know why? Because I think you reach to a point where you actually need some space in your brain.
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
you need to do is just to
Her day's
delete
busy.
the things
She needs
that-
space. Give her space.
So yeah, I
Okay.
mean, why wouldn't you delete that? Because you're gonna rewatch it again and enjoy watching it again. You know?
Fair. I mean, I guess.
I mean, the Titanic will always have that new reaction every time. Oh,
Really?
Really?
The Titanic gives you a new reaction.
Titanic
Okay.
always makes me tear up, like at the very end. I don't know.
Oh, Jack. Oh, Jack. Okay.
No, it's not that. You know, I always tend to see the movie in different perspective, in a different way. You know, like you used to see it through an angle, and then you're like, oh, I didn't notice that this actually happened. I didn't notice. You know.
Maybe
These
you're not
kind of
really paying
things.
attention in the movie. That's why you're.
No,
Are you
like,
zoning out?
Like no, I never zone out. But every time I watch, it's like reading a book. You know, you read a book and then you.
Do you have
read,
ADHD?
No.
Because it makes more sense now.
It's like when you read the story, you look at it and then you're like, you always want to finish
Yeah.
the pages. Like, I would just want to know what happens in the end.
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't-
Never read a book in my life.
I've read few, but like,
How with ADHD? How?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was a kid, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, the thing is, it's really hard to keep focus on, like, because you lose track. Like, you read, like, through the page and, like, what happened? Let's go back and read again.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
I do that while watching movies and shows. I was like, wait, let me go back a bit.
I
What
don't
did
do
he
that.
say?
I pay attention to every
I
single
pay attention,
detail
but sometimes
in
I do
You
rewind.
know, my brother does that every single time we watch a movie, and he'd be like, "I didn't
No,
listen.
let me
I
put it
didn't
back."
hear. You were talking." And we're like, "We want to watch the movie. It's not important what he just said."
I think-
My favorite movie of all time.
Ooh.
The Little Mermaid.
What?
The Little Mermaid. I knew she was
Little
gonna answer
Mermaid.
that.
Why the Little Mermaid?
I don't know. It's like something I used to watch from when I
Okay,
was really
a
young
little
until now.
something we did not talk about. She is very talented with drawing. She can draw amazing things.
Hidden talent.
On doors. I've seen her do it on
Doors,
doors.
walls,
She drew
fabric,
a huge
tables,
Little Mermaid on the door.
but never
like,
on a
her-
paper.
Never on a paper.
Never on
Yeah.
paper.
As if you can't or won't.
No, it's when you feel it's so difficult and frustrating.
Uh-huh.
So I just don't like to do it on
Paper.
canvas or paper.
Okay,
And instead,
but
I
you
like to
like
do it
a
on a wall.
big-
Yeah.
She does it on bags. We talk
Yeah.
about shoes, leather goods.
Have you pivoted to a small business?
Well,
She
it
did.
used to be. It used to be when I was in college. You know,
It was a
we,
good
we
income
used to
on the
have
side.
our income, the 200 KD.
Yeah, the 200
and
KD.
once it's out, it was like, I have
What
to
you gonna
save
do?
myself.
I
Yeah.
had to get
Let's-
So
money.
was that a
pay
good
to
way of making
Yeah.
money back in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And why don't you continue?
I don't have time.
That is true.
Okay, she does not
That
have
is
time.
true.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
But-
I used to do it before, but I think the last time I painted an order, it was in 2018.
That's a while.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
I was
while.
like, I'm done.
The thing
6
is,
years.
once you stop painting, I don't know, your hands become a little.
Well,
But you still
it's-
do the stuff on the big.
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
right?
Like at school now,
At
I'm
schools.
actually having some walls that I'm going to draw on. Like I gave some space for my students
Okay.
to.
That's
express
nice. Where
their-
did that artistry come from? The drawing and all that.
We have it in the family. Like
In
I
the
have
family.
my aunts do actually draw. My father used to draw.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So thank you for being with us. And before we wrap up, is there any advice you would like to give to women out there to support them? This is for women.
Young
women.
woman.
Young women,
woman.
you know, who are working on achieving.
She
their
can
goals.
advise young guys too.
I mean, do you want to advise young guys
It's
too?
the same advice.
I mean, this advice goes to everyone,
Everyone.
who workaholic. Always remember that you can always find the balance. Never, ever, ever listen to anyone who's telling you you don't have time, you cannot do that. I mean, always believe in yourself, and eventually you're going to manage to have that kind of balance in order for you to succeed at work and also to find time for your family and friends.
Beautiful words.
Thank
Beautiful.
you for being with us.
Thank you for your time.
We'll go on a break and we'll be back for the wrap up.
Well, did you have fun with your friend?
Yeah, finally.
Finally.
Yeah, she doesn't have time for anything.
That's technically your first hangout.
Not really. No, it's not. It's not. We hanged out before. We went on car cruising. Like,
Car
a few times
cruising.
before.
All right.
That's what we do. We don't have time for anything, so let's
So
grab a
just-
coffee in the
just-
car,
yeah,
drive through.
Sounds good.
and
Did
that's
you
it.
enjoy today's episode?
I did. It's
Yeah.
fun. It was more of a chit chat with my friends. So
Yeah.
it was
It's fun
good. It was
always
cool.
having people we know.
But why
and
are
get
we
to know
wearing
them.
black today?
It's just cold.
It's
It's
coincidence.
so cold in Kuwait these days.
No, but black. I mean,
Black,
I'm wearing black and
you know,
black and black
it's
and
just,
black. You're wearing black.
You know,
I mean,
protects you from the.
are we color coding?
I don't
Not
know.
on purpose.
I don't know. Something. Sometimes it happens.
Anyway.
Anyway,
we
end
have
of our
this
show. We're gonna
episode.
wrap things up. See you next time.
Good
Good night.